Welcome everyone to the April 2023 Flower Moon Crystal Grid build. As you can tell in a lot of places, it is springtime. And with that changing of the seasons, it's a reminder to all of us that things are always a cycle. You know, there may have been some bad or rough times that we went through over the winter or the last month or so. It doesn't mean they're going to stick around. And before we all get started, let's do a little calling into the directions, getting everybody set into the mood of this next cycle, this coming of a new season that we're right in the beginnings of. Like, we're watching as things are coming to life again, coming to bloom. So we are at the beginnings. We are at east. We are at the point of the wind of freedom and movement and change as it's coming through. And in that time, we're going to welcome in that eastern energy, that wind energy, that soaring, flying, free, seeking energy. We're going to bring you in and say welcome. Next, as we notice, it's getting warmer, getting sunnier and brighter. We're going to look again to the south, to the sun, to the fire, to all that brings us warmth, lights our way, and burns and fuels our desires. We're going to welcome you in. Next, to the west, to the earth, to the ground beneath our feet, to the source in which all new life springs forth, to all of the creatures, great and small, the plants that give us nutrients and sustenance, to the flowers that feed the bees and fill the air with beautiful fragrances, to all the keepers of this natural world. We welcome you in. And with these changing of the seasons, the snow turns to rain. And we remember as all that dust and dirt from being held inside is washed away, to that deep emotional feelings in the vastness of our wisdom, to that lifeblood that flows through us and makes everything we know possible. We look to that north for that cycle to return, and we thank it for its time over the winter as we move forward to the spring. Next, let's take a little look at what we're going to be playing with. I'm going to skip over the big one that everybody knows, and we'll cover that last. But first, we're going to go to Ocean Jasper. Yeah, beautiful bluish greenish color with some reddish hues. This is a quartz jasper agate combination that comes from Madagascar. It's a solar plexus heart and throat stone. It symbolizes the interconnectedness of all things, encouraging journeying and service towards mankind, reminding us that nature is cyclical and a rhythm, and helps us to cope with change as it comes through. Brings out long hidden unresolved emotional issues to the surface and taking responsibility for what was yours. Not everything is someone else's fault. We have to take credit where credit is due, even if that credit is accountability. Next, we're going to go over to Lepidolite, a mica formation. This one's where it's a little less flattened out. Mica or Lepidolite helps to dissipate negative energy, induce calm, has a very pleasant and refined energy that helps us overgrow tragedy while aligning our meridians and chakras. The stone of looking at the wrong one, sorry. It's a stone of transition, only allowing itself to be used for the highest good and bringing reconciliation. It activates and opens all the chakras. It contains lithium and is a good supporting, calming, soothing type stone, especially for mental disorders. So if you struggle with anxiety or depression, or even some variation on the autism spectrum, Lepidolite's there to help calm down that overactive mind. Just kind of put a kibosh on things. Next, we are going over to Lepidolite, or zebra feldspar. This is a smoky quartz and feldspar. It's a stone that's said to have good connection to ancient Egypt and that wisdom and knowledge. So if you work with that type of energy, Lepidolite is for you. It's a very pleasant, refined energy. This is the one that helps to align with tragedy and meridian floats, cooperative effort stone, helping people to find new ways to solve problems and insights to resolving any issues before they come back. Next is another conglomeration. This is Healer's Gold. Healer's Gold is obviously a healer stone, particularly those who work in a healthcare facility of some sort, who do some type of supportive care. This helps you prevent healers' burnout and overexhausting and overexpending yourself. It helps to harmonize and balance all your energies, especially the masculine and feminine. Very strong grounding, especially towards higher frequencies. And what we're doing here with the Healer's Gold is we're actually going to split it apart into its two components. We've got the Magnetite, or lodestone, as many call it, which obviously being highly magnetic, so it's very grounding. It's going to help stabilize and energize at the same time whenever needed. It's obviously got the ability to help balance out our bioelectric and biomagnetic fields. I mean, that magnetism's kind of self-explanatory. And then the other aspect of that Healer's Gold is Pyrite. Pyrite is one of the few things that does form at sharp angles and curves. And it's a very great shield. It's very structured and organized. Even when it's been worn down and weathered over time, you can see how it still has that distinctness of that pyrite, that cubic shape. It's called a sparking stone because when you strike two pieces of it together, it can create a spark or a flash. Or some say it can help spark your inspiration to move forward. Helps deflect harm and helps create a positive outlook on life, so you can see beyond that little facade that is. And last but not least, the ever popular and ever sought after amethyst. Amethyst comes in many types and sizes. It can come in shades and colorations. Amethyst is a very high energy stone centered on the crown, but can also be very grounding when it has goethite or carbon inclusions in it. Amethyst is said to help deal with addiction, but not to be replaced by addiction, because it can at the same time. It helps to calm emotions, especially irritability, mood swings, anger, rage, fear, and anxiety. Helps to relieve sadness, grief, and dissolve the negativity that's left behind from those. So as we kind of see with all of this, there's a lot of grounding of the self, a lot of protecting of the self, but also a lot of relieving of the self, particularly of our emotions. Because during the winter time, when things don't get moving and kind of stuck there sitting in what you're feeling, it doesn't really get the chance to go anywhere. But now that it's warming up and we can go out into the gardens and to like nature a little bit easier without being too cold and kind of miserable out there, like we can take advantage now, and in this time use it to alleviate and remove a lot of that pent up and stuck frustrations and irritabilities from that lack of changing that exists during the winter seasons. So now with all this being in, let's grab our connectors, the lovely Vogel wands. As we come back, say, Mother Gaia, Goddess of Creation, Ouroboros, come and embrace your children, surrounding us with your warmth, love, and protection, so we may create our own peace, balance, and serenity. Sky Father Quetzalcoatl, God of humanity, winged feathered serpent, we ask that you come down and shine your celestial light upon your servants, filling us with your divinity, so that we may see, hear, speak, and feel with your eternal wisdom and understanding. To the Great Mother, to our celestial sister Luna, Goddess of Wisdom, Grandmother Owl, we ask that you continue to allow your brilliant radiance to guide and lead us and keep us on our paths. Into the now, to the time that is, was, and never will be. All that's happening, all that will happen, all that hasn't happened, all that never will. We beseech you to open us up in this moment, connect us to a higher frequency so we may understand and feel and move forward in these unusual times. Thank you. Now, probably going to be a little obvious, but I'm going to be doing my best to have this have a as flower-like persona as possible. Filling in these energies, these gaps, letting us know spring has sprung. It is time to move forward. It is time to embrace this change with dignity and grace. Especially if we've been doing things all the time that don't really align with what we're supposed to be doing. Distracting ourselves. Impeding ourselves. But that's what you do in winter. You relax. You take time out of your busy days. Because there's not really anything to do. But now you can shake off that snow. Take off all those heavy woolen jackets. And start to go out and embrace the light that has come upon us. And clearly, as you can see, I'm working the Healer's Gold, Pyrite, and Magnetite around in a circle here. Because like stones, when put together, although they may upset the balance between how much of each mineral is there, it also allows you to say, hey, since this is the stone we really want to work with, the Healer's Gold, if I take its component parts and put them together, they should be able to do the same kind of work without needing to go out and finding the specific stones. Because finding them in a conglomeration like this, not necessarily the easiest. But at the same time, anywhere you can find pyrite and you can find magnetite, you can most likely find Healer's Gold. Ironically, on this house I now live in, the ground we live on is very heavy in iron content. And when you go deep enough into the soil, it actually turns this orangish brown color, which is a clear indicator I've got iron, and there's magnetite because a lot of the stones are magnetic. It's possibly pyrite out here just in my yard. So working this type of energy is going to help me to work with the energy of my property. And keep in mind, this stuff was all decided on what I was doing months and months ago. It's just, ironically, exactly what I need it for. Just coincides exactly with my plans and desires, or just the direction in which my life is moving, which can make it seem like this stuff is very self-oriented and focused, until you get into the fact that a lot of people I know and interact with go through these exact same scenarios and situations. I'm just kind of tapping into the frequency of it all and saying, hey, if we're going to if we're going to be here and do stuff, or at least we're going to have a good time about it. If we're going to shake things up, let me know. Give me a little peek before you start throwing shit to the wind. Because all this energy, especially with what I'm currently working with, is all really geared towards truly tapping into what's happening in the universe. Because you go and look at a lot of these sites and they're going to tell you that, oh, the moon's entering Libra and everything according to the progression of constellations. But if you actually look at the sky, it's not what's happening. We're actually right in the heart of Virgo. And I'll never fully understand why there's this desire to not follow the night sky. Because people get very defensive when you tell them that what they're believing and trying to follow isn't actually accurate. But, you know, people like their fallacies. They make them feel more comfortable and secure. Our egos get a little bit more empowered by it. And yet it's doing us a disservice by saying we're further ahead than what we are. It's not wrong to want that. It's just you gotta be willing to understand, as human beings, we're not all that great. We're not as advanced as we like to think we are. We are eons beyond where we're behind where we're supposed to be. That's okay. Believe as you will. The world will keep on spinning no matter what. Yes, amethyst is such a nice stone to work with, even when just gritting around like this. I can already feel just the calming, relaxing nature of it. Just being like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. Don't need to worry. Don't need to fret. If there's anything in life that is a guarantee, it's that nothing in life is guaranteed. See, this is why I miss having a camera guy. You can keep my mind focused and answering questions and giving thoughts and opinions. Explain shit. Amethyst is a fun stone because it has the ability to be multiple things at once. Like, as you can see, the lower section, that's just clearly quartz. Like, just clear, pretty see-through. Then you go to the other side, that's where the purple comes in. But then, if that purple has carbon in it, or that manganese that causes it to be purple also runs into some carbon or some goethite, it turns black. But then at the same time, if it starts heating up in its formation, it'll start shifting a little yellow, going into the citrine color, or if it's halfway between, that's called ametrine. They're finding more and more of stones like these that are transitional, that are a symbol of change, right? Because let's look at that zoning in there, that phantom underlying. Ah, fabulous. Yeah, amethysts are a spectrum changer, but also have this little quality where if they're in direct sunlight too much or too long, they will actually begin to lose their color. Like, it kind of gets baked out of them, you could say. So, which is ironic that this is a stone that's very highly sought after by spiritual types. Types who surround themselves in excess light. That means that they're going to be absorbing and pulling out the color in their amethysts fairly quickly. Because they're constantly being used, constantly drained. Like, how can anything sustain itself that way? It can't. So in our desires to love and cherish this stone, we're actually causing it significant amounts of harm by overdoing it. Let's grab some of these guys. You can see the variations and just see that one's so faint you can barely see it's there, but you get it under like a backlighting and it's unmistakable. Now, actually, these, as when I received them, were actually labeled as smoky quartz, but they're actually just really, really dark amethysts. Once I get this all built, I'm gonna go grab a light and I'll show you, because it's pretty fascinating in my opinion, just how much one stone can vary. And it grows in clusters, it grows in points. It can even be green and be something known as Pyrite, which again, very amethysty in its qualities, but amethyst nonetheless. And it just takes that calmness and everything and directs it very strongly towards the heart. Not like you need any more of that with this stuff, but you get what you get, right? These little guys even have some hematite speckling on it. Don't know if we can see it on this camera. Where did I put you? Always lose something when I want to eventually find it. Damn. Oh well. Ah. Yeah. That's not helping. Those little speckles of red that are barely showing up. Yeah, I'm actually going to put those in a different box. You guys get to put it over here. Let's look. See how that's got the black in there. Yeah. This is referred to as a triplet or a twin because it's got these two sharing a stalk, and then a mother and child because there's a larger crystal smaller on the side. Because amethyst will have just as many variations to it as quartz does. This one here has a bunch of calcification or salt encrusting on the top. I've tried washing it away and it doesn't really give much results. This one we had up first. This is called a dragon's tooth. It's got a little sceptering going on to it. And just look at all these little individual points up on the top here. And this is the only time I've ever seen one where it's got a double end to it, which to me makes it even more toothy, if you will. This one here, if we can see it, has actually citrine inside. It's hard to tell. Yeah, all this energy, everything we're going to be working with is really kind of going in and shaking up your own foundation a little bit, finding a new sense of balance in this changed season. Because nothing's ever permanently consistent. If it was, then life would be boring. So we have to take this change and embrace it, appreciate it, love it, if you will. As you know, with any grid, you can't have it be finished without a centerpiece. So we're going to use this lovely amethyst, ametrine, because it's got all that yellow in there. You can see it a lot better on this one. This is actually referred to as a spirit quartz formation, because it's coming out of there kind of like a cactus almost. We'll go put that right in the center here. I'm going to take this larger let's see if we can put you out here, put the smaller guy there, and then the nice big healer's gold to encompass all of that extra energy. And because you can't really do a flower moon grid without some actual flowers. These were all taken off of some bushes and a tree from outside my property. I ask before trimming, which you should always do. Trees don't just want to get cut down or have pieces of it taken away. That's presumptuous and rude. So you ask for their permission. Consent's important even in nature. I believe these are from a red maple, or Japanese maple, I should say. Of course, I'm a little short. So. We're going on an adventure. It's springtime, folks. Where's your indoor garden? Here's mine. Got peppers, tomatoes, greens, herbs. It's gonna be a good time. Now, we want something with flowers, but that's also within reach. That one looks good. Hello. Do you mind if I take you? It's here. We're gonna add you to the grid and add your beautiful, wonderful energy to it. Thank you. See, when you ask, you don't even need clippers. They just break right off. I'm just gonna use the clippers to trim things. Do. All right. I can actually trim up to there. Shrink. Trim right here. Just go like pop. Plop. Let's not let the rest of these go to waste. Just like crystals, flowers have energy. You can make an entire grid out of flowers if you so desire. Hell, if you plant and you're a gardener, plant your flowers as if they're a grid. Organize them and arrange them how best seem fit for the energy you want to create in your space. Learn companion planting and plant things together that work together in harmony. That's what I'm going to try to do. Take a moment just to appreciate and admire what we got going on here. Yeah, a lot of the grids lately have been looking very similar in pattern and formation, but you can use the same patterns over and over and over again. So when you change the ingredients on the inside, you change what you're working with. You can change the energies while maintaining the foundation. Because that base flow, whatever it is you're looking for, like here we got the 8-pointed star. And even though these are very square stones, very angular and very rigid stones, I have them placed in a circle instead of a square. I could have easily put them into a square. But then that's just maintaining a norm. Where we're actually altering that rigid structure to becoming something stronger. It's like, you know, when you have enough cubes and you can turn that into a sphere by angling them all at the right, with the right amount of pressure. Doesn't seem possible, but it is. It's mind-blowing. Or in particular, this here, this little rhombohedron. You take enough of these to where you make a circle out of it. That's a very solid, strong structure. It won't break, it won't bend. And that's kind of what we're looking for. Creating change while maintaining growth. Because we are going through a change, but it's a seasonal change. It's a necessary change. It's the cycles that we all push and move through. With that said, let us pull out the pendulum. Let it do its thing. Bring together and harmonize these stones, these minerals, these intentions. Create our structure and foundation that we're going to work through in this space and energy and focus to release and ease all of our anxieties and angers and frustrations and ill wishings. It's time to break through that anger and turn into something viable, useful. Don't just let it run rampant and rage on. It's not really needed, but we can ground that energy and stabilize it, fortify it, encourage it. Allow that foundation to create the balance you're looking for. Realizing you don't have to do everything alone. You can cooperate and work in harmony with other people. You can work in harmony within yourself. Oh. Sorry, friend. Within ourselves, we have both the masculine and the feminine, the light and the dark, positive and negative. Can't live without either. You can't survive on just one. You can try to, but you're just deluding yourself. Anyone who says they can break negative energy is a liar. All you can do is move it, transform it, use it. Don't let it consume you. Don't avoid it. Especially when that negativity is coming from within. Because then you have no one to blame for it but yourself. And as these seasons change and we move into spring and this new energy of growth and life and beauty, let's let that sun shine on in. Let's bring in new light, new focus, new intuition, new everything. We're just gonna smooch boot you down here for right now. As my brother Sir Chad Diamond Dad would say, we are about to seal the deal. Using sacred smoke to move this energy. To ground this energy. And to elevate it. To new dimensions. Within ourselves. Within the world around us. And within the lives of the people we touch. Let us embrace this new energy, this change, this new life. Let's come into this spring with all the petty frustrations and irritations left behind us, dealt with, expressed, so we can move forward into the new growth that's ahead of us. And on that note, I wish you a happy lunar cycle, a blessed spring, and may your flowers begin to bloom and bring new beauty and life into your life. I thank you, and have a wonderful day.